Well, my dad fed me my rabbit once, and that was devastating. But I lived through it and started eating rabbits and feeding other children their rabbits. All right, we're on. Hey guys, Alf Benny here. Thanks for coming. I got Leica today, the lovely Leica. Civil rights leaders.
So that happened, and there was much rejoicing and happiness.
I'm in the mood to chat, continue drinking, and doing other degenerate behavior.
Let me tell you what I've done to handle the stalker problem. I have liberally, and I liberally use the block button.
I'm beautiful!
I guess we could start on some background on this à-bas-le-ciel Isle idiot. He's got a chip on his shoulder about Aimee. We bumped into him a while back on the Satanism server, which if you don't know what that is,
server.
That was this little hive of vegan defects from the Ask Yourself crew. I guess it seemed like the overarching idea was they weren't
got banned from there.
Yeah, we all got banned from there and then let back in. We had a fun little proxy war with them for a while. This guy was one of their little whatever creatures on that server. He had a run-in with Aimee. We pretty much laughed at him a lot like Amy's about to laugh at Vegan Gains here, and he's a dope. That's about it.
And now the A-team here, which has got me, the War Kettle, Dan, Johan, Rogue Knight, Alfie, and Grant, going to watch this video and react to it, basically.
I love it when a plan comes together.
So do I.
Yeah.
For a second, I think this is a tweet by him, but I'm going to read it out.
Okay.
It says, WYR, I'm not even sure what that means because I don't talk internet language, but whatever. Aimee K or Marissa, in parentheses, misfit and nerdy. If we're talking about the next 5 years, I've got way more hope for Marissa going through some kind of personal intellectual growth. So that would be my bet. You can cultivate your curiosity and ambition. You can't do much. You can't do much of anything to cultivate your face. What?
Yeah. So
guy in his 5-year plans.
Yeah.
Fucking
he asked us about his 5-year plans, and oh my God, we made fun of him about that behind his back and to his face for a long time. What's your 5-year plan to XYZ? Everybody laughs. Go-to joke.
Yeah. Doesn't even matter what you say after 5-year plan. It all works. Oh my God, hilarious. All right, here we go.
How does animal agriculture help the species? How quiet? How does animal
I love that he starts out the video with him spurging out.
How does animal agriculture help the species? How does animal agriculture help the species? How does animal agriculture help the species? How does animal agriculture
Amy's got meat in her mouth.
How does animal agriculture help the species?
He's broken.
I mean, it helped us by increasing our ability to trade. Anything that contributes to
okay, well, it doesn't do that anymore. Doesn't do that anymore.
Because it prevents us from getting into wars.
Sorry, killing cows prevents us from getting into wars.
At what point did you say about animals?
Is something that definitely assuages war. When you're sharing resources, because certain areas are ripe for certain crops.
You're telling me you eat cows to prevent wars. You eat cows from China to prevent wars? Does animal agriculture prevent wars? Yes or no? Does animal agriculture prevent wars? Yes or no? Does animal agriculture prevent wars? Yes or no? Does animal agriculture prevent wars? Yes or no?
That's your question to me.
So some of you may have just seen a video put up by Vegan Gains. I don't know if it really can be.
Look at those eyebrows!
But it shows you just what an awful person Aimee K is.
Clean your room! What? Well, fuck you. Amy's not an awful person.
What? How is Aimee the awful person here? Did he seriously just watch the same video I did?
But who wants to place bets that he starts singing Lightning Crashes 10 minutes into Let's please that's how long it takes him to break out into Lightning Crashes.
Try to deal with in a systematic way questions of whether or not a vegan diet would be better for ecology, human health, and ethics in terms of the impact on animals, foundational issues of veganism. And for over an hour, you just got to see what an awful excuse for a human being Aimee K is. Now, some of you might be really surprised.
I mean, we're a minute and a half in on your video, mate, and we can always tell how much of an awful human being you are.
Same woman. And just like
debate
vegan gains, it would be really hard to even describe that as a debate.
How does animal agriculture benefit
okay, well, at least that was honest.
How does animal agriculture benefit humanity? How does animal agriculture benefit humanity? How does animal agriculture benefit humanity?
Look at how much of a spurg he is. No, what a question. This is how he treats not just women, but people in general. It shows how much of an ass he is.
Spurg more, Spurg boy.
This is how 4-year-olds talk.
Yeah.
Oh wow, and this goes on for like literally 3 or 4 minutes.
How is this guy using this clip to argue his point that Vegan Gains won this?
No.
Vegan Gains is acting like a 2-year-old.
There it is.
Oh, there he is, getting aggressive and emotional.
Angry.
What a bitch. It was really intended to reduce her to tears, and it pretty much worked.
What?
Let's pause this for a second and break down that this psychotic imbecile thinks that Aimee was brought down to tears. What?
Yeah, because Aimee was the one with the red eye about to burst into tears during that whole fucking live stream.
Watch the same stream of Vegan Gains, hands shaking, eyes getting watery.
Are we watching the same thing?
Oh my god.
Maybe
it's understands human.
It's because of his forehead. He's got a giant forehead like Vegan Gains, so they've gotta defend each other. The foreheads unite.
Wow. Well, yeah, foreheads unite with giant, bright yellow shirts.
This is
there we go.
This is a whole
bananas
of not understanding social interactions that I have never seen in my life. This is crazy.
Live voice chat on Discord, and she was not alone. She had like 5 friends backing her up.
Hi.
There were maybe only like 3 other people really actively talking, but there were these other dudes there, and I was taking them all on as a group.
I wish I was
One
there.
of the reasons why I was frankly so mean and so devastating was that when I came into the room, they were not saying at all what Aimee K says, I think insincerely in this video, that they had any kind of positive reason to be engaged with vegans.
Okay, so you agree that veganism is a superior moral position.
I'm here because
so you agree that veganism is a superior moral position.
Be a better vegan.
Now, see this what it says
really
at the bottom.
Openly discussing the extent to which they were trying to humiliate.
What did it say at the bottom?
Hold on.
On YouTube.
Can I ask you a question, Dan? You were there.
Yeah.
Were you guys actively trying to discredit and destroy the vegan community?
I think we were kind of honest that we were just there to have fun, and we were saying, hey, we're here to have fun, and we're going to be a little trolly, and I think the main point of contention, if I recall, we were saying we're having fun, and these are jokes. You guys don't understand jokes, and I was going off about how, saying disingenuously but humorously, I think that meat is the essential ingredient in the human brain that allows them to understand humor. So your lack of meat is the reason you don't understand humor, because we're trying to be funny and you guys are spurging out. So, I mean, we've been locked at 0 with these people from go. It's been the same thing. You guys are cunts. We're fun loving. And that's what we were stressing when we showed up there. So if he interprets anything, he might have interpreted my anti-vegan sort of position. But not really. I was kind of just staying low key and kind of keeping it to myself.
So I love the face I paused it on, but it looks like he's having an unwanted orgasm or something. But in the end, this basically just continue as most of these vegans have done every single time we talk to them, is continue to
lie,
further not even lie, but continue to further our point that they don't understand this, what we're doing. They don't understand humor. They spurg out, and they don't get how we're trying to help them. They think we're doing the opposite of that. But
I mean, the only person who's actually anti-vegan is Dan. I mean, when it comes to me and Devon, we're like, no, we agree with you. We're in favor of you. We just think what Ash Yourself and Vegan Games is doing is more harmful to the vegan community than helpful.
Yeah.
And instead of just listening to our criticisms, they just went instantly of oh, you're anti-vegan, rah, 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 and then start throwing their toys out the pram. All they had to do was just go, oh, what's your complaints? Listened, and then that's it. If they didn't want to do anything about it and just walk away, that's fine. It's up to them to take advice and do what they will, do what they want with it. But they didn't. They just decided to start throwing their toys out the pram and acting like we want to see the destruction of veganism. Obviously, I'm not including Dan in this, but yeah.
But I will bring some past context into this real quick. This all started from Ask Yourself being a douchebag in our server, getting kicked out and then dishonestly portraying the kick out. And then I went to him nicely and asked him, you know, explained to him why he was kicked out and invited him back in. And then all I told him was to come talk to me first so I can explain how the Discord works. But he refused to do that. He refused to say that he was either being dishonest or misunderstood the situation, and continued to say that we were being dishonest, even though I made a video proving it, showing screen caps and everything, and he still would not agree. So the main issue here is that turned into us trying to teach these people that you're going about this all wrong. You're treating people wrong. Nobody's going to listen to you if you're going to be an asshole all the time. So this was the main point, and that's what this has all devolved into. In like basically within like a year, basically this has been going on and off for a while, and they still, to this point, they still do not understand what we're doing. They still try to approach us as if we're anti-vegan and trying to destroy their cause. When the main issue we have is criticisms on how they behave and how they try to spread their cause. It's not working for them, where most of us are not anti-vegan. In fact, some of us would like to see them get better at what their cause and are trying to show them that, you know, and better human beings in general, like in social human interactions, you know.
All right, nail on the head there, Ralph.
I just wanted to give a little context. Here we
go. On other social media platforms. So, you know, there's obviously a level in which I just don't take kindly to that. You guys hear me on this channel really positively saying all the time, look in the mirror, ask yourself, what kind of person do you really want to be?
Ask yourself,
what kind of person do you aspire to be? I very often
there's no fucking, none of your viewers doing that, especially vegan games or ask yourself looking in the mirror and asking themselves that question. Is there?
No, and that's kind of one of the main issues of how I see that they're not understanding this. It's like they just don't get it. Like I don't understand why. We've even explained it to them explicitly, and they just don't understand. They still take it from the stance that we're against them.
Yeah.
Ultimate product of the vegan movement isn't a dairy-free chocolate bar in a package. It isn't soy milk. It isn't a veggie burger. It isn't one thing or another. The product is you. Like, what we're questioning here ultimately is, what kind of man do I want to be? What kind of woman do I be? What kind of person do I want to be? And that kind of positive.
Insert my gender.
You have to kind of harness and type people's
motivation. Yeah, he assumed my gender. Fuck you.
Veganism, rather than just being some kind of, reducitarian or somebody who says they kind of sort of try to do the right thing, but who aren't really committed to never doing the wrong thing. So that positive aspirational side I use a lot on this channel when I talk to people face to face about veganism, and I do have the experience many times of converting people to veganism in real life. I use that positively.
Okay, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Surely, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Surely, based on what he just said, he's going to criticize Vegan Gains for not doing any of that.
Yeah, basically everything he said Vegan Gains is not doing. And in fact,
no, they won't, because the simple fact is when it comes to other vegans, they're just like, oh yeah, they're doing the right thing, and they only want to murk people who say they're not vegan. That's it.
And in fact, exactly what he's talking about is kind of what we're doing to them, but towards social interaction as opposed to veganism. You know what I'm saying? And like he says, he goes out and talks to people about veganism. He's converted a few people. Well, we're going out and talking to you guys, and we're trying to convert you guys to be better at interacting with people socially. This is an important skill, especially when you have a cause. It's probably the most important skill to have when you have a cause that you want to spread.
And now let's give him the benefit of the doubt. And I don't like this guy, but let's go ahead and be charitable.
Yeah.
Is he going to recognize that Vegan Gains didn't do that, and that we are trying to actually do what he's saying? Is he going to recognize that?
Yeah, that's.
I'm going to say $5. £5 says no.
I'm not taking that bet.
He broke his nose because his nose is all squiggly.
I'm going to say that he doesn't understand what's going on in this debate, as per usual, and doesn't realize that Aimee was doing exactly what he's saying, but about social interactions.
How could he, really? Right? He's pot committed.
He's pot committed, exactly. And to be honest, he doesn't know the full context. But I mean, if you guys had a talk with him and you explained that to him and explained that you guys are kind of trolling and shit, and he didn't recognize that and still says that it's not that, then he probably doesn't have that kind of recognition to, you know what I'm saying? that kind of unbiased recognition to see what's
this guy's
happening.
Tommy Robinson supporter thick. I'll tell you that right now.
Painfully. Pain.
Oh, pain.
Nice. All right, let's keep going.
My debate with Aimee K was the same method, but really flipped around and used negatively. So in that discussion, she and her friends, they really felt that their strong suit to play was to say that veganism was a failure as a movement.
What?
And they were very
Hang
surprised.
on, when has any of us said that?
When has anyone said that?
I mean, Dan's the anti-vegan. So, Dan, did you ever say that?
Benefit of the doubt, I might have said something, but I don't recall. I think at that time, and for all of this, my anti-veganism is really taking a back seat to you guys having fun and pointing out how ridiculous they are and how they conduct themselves. So if I said that, he caught a tiny little fraction of that, because I really feel like I've totally been pretty quiet. And I'm pretty sure at that time what he's referring to, we were just sitting there having fun, and I was more inclined to make jokes.
Yeah. Which you said you expressed to everybody there, right? That you were there more.
Oh, that was basically what we were talking about.
I remember going into that server, and we all went in there, and kind of the point of going in there was for us to have fun with them. And they didn't realize this, and some of them did. And some of them would just straight up spurg out, and we would tell them like, hey, we're just here to have fun. We're just joking about. But some of them would just straight up spurg out, not understand that we're joking around. And but some of them, the more intelligent ones, or at least the more chill ones, would laugh with us, and understand. And they didn't want us to leave, but the other ones that would spurg out wanted to kick us out. While the main people, funny enough, the main people of that Discord who were running that Discord wanted us there. So.
And kind of got it. But I will say, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It is possible that I was saying some anti-vegan stuff. It probably slipped out. I know at one time I actually did get into it with one guy where we started down that road. And like it tends to happen when there's 20 people in a server, it didn't get very far.
Yeah, of course, because everybody wants to give their piece and not give anybody else a chance to give theirs. But yeah. All right. So I'm going to take it as this guy took something serious that was more of a joke than anything.
Yeah.
And most likely than not was not the main thing that was going on, but he's taking it as the main thing.
Yeah, he's definitely blown out of proportion, maybe a little bit of what he might have heard from me, but
obviously for sure wasn't the strong argument. But I will put up an argument that I think it's not failed, but it's not doing well. That's where I will stand on that. It's not doing well. But I'm not going to say it's failed, because it is spreading, but it's just spreading at an enormously slow rate. But all right, let's go.
And instead of debating that with them, I agreed with them, but wanted to press forward further. I said, you're right. It's a failure. We haven't achieved any of our goals. Our goals are enormous. Our ambitions to make the world a place, they're tremendous. And we haven't accomplished any of them, and we've made almost zero progress towards them. We've made so little. We have this enormous goal to abolish, whatever you want to say, abolish slaughterhouses, have this ecological and cultural change. But then I turned around and I said, what about you? What are your goals?
5-year plan.
You've been a part of.
Yeah, okay, hold on.
And they were really stunned by that.
He did this, and it was pathetic.
I highly doubt you guys were stunned by that question.
I wasn't even there, and that provided so much humor for the longest time.
Yeah, he tried to turn it all around on us. He did all this stuff where he said basically, hey Dan, what are you doing? What's your big cause? And I said, well, I don't really have a cause. I kind of just live my life and try to run my stuff. And so if I have to, get squeezed into your little hypothetical here and play your game, I'm anti-war. And he's like, well, what have you done to be anti-war? And I said, I'm not telling you any of that. It's none of your business. Yeah. And that's basically the extent of that conversation. Here's what happened. Maybe he'll be honest about this. He started to tell us about all of the things he's done. He went to Cambodia, brought people rice. What's your 5-year plan? He started to try to troubleshoot our lives, and he was very uncharitable, going, well, hey, I asked you what you're doing, and you told me nothing. And I said, no, that's not what I told you. And by the way, it's pretty obvious what you're doing. You're being defensive, and I told you that you're ineffective. And now that he's mentioned this, and I do remember, I was basically saying, you guys aren't doing you're not doing a great job. And he did, to his credit, kind of agree with that, and he tried to turn it around and be all defensive. He's totally skipping over the part where he was totally triggered about being defensive.
Yeah.
And he tried, and I told him while he was doing it, I was like, what you're doing is not working. There's no gotcha here. You're defensive because I said veganism isn't where it wants to be, and you agreed with that. And let's just call it what it is. You're not going to catch me on this.
I think all vegans would have to agree with that if they're being honest. Veganism is not where they want it to be. Obviously, all their goals is to have complete vegan.
It's a pedestrian observation.
It's pretty far.
And if we're gonna go by that, then it's like I said, it's not going well. It's not even close to being everyone. So.
But basically, he tried to troubleshoot our lives, and basically tried to say, "Well, you're a hypocrite. You're not doing anything for your causes." And it's totally disingenuous. And his summation of this is almost barely accurate.
What if somebody answered they didn't have a cause or want a cause? Then what? That makes them not a hypocrite. Then, like, I don't know. That's just
not everyone wants to do activism.
Of course not. Of course not. And in the end,
something that really pisses me off with activists is they expect everyone to do some form of activism. And it's like, no. I mean, and the other thing is they expect a certain amount of activism from people, and it's like, no, everyone has their own way of being an activist. It could be from little tiny things of just putting letters in the fucking post to sending emails to doing YouTube videos or whatever. I mean, you can't judge someone because of how they do their activism. They have to find their own way.
That's true, but unless it's a way that's going to be not working, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, of course.
But in the end, like from what Dan's saying and from what he's saying, it kind of seems to me like he was arguing with you from emotion and wasn't really thinking of what he was saying.
He was being defensive. It was a gotcha, and basically I told him, I'm not giving you anything. I was just said I'm anti-war just to see where you're going with this, because surely you're not just going to try to say, well, what are you doing, and be defensive. And of course that's exactly what he did. And I had to remind him 1,000 times, I didn't tell you what I'm doing about it. So you can just guess whatever you want.
Yeah. But that just shows that he got emotional. He didn't control himself, basically.
What have you done in the last 5 years? And I was asking those questions sincerely, but there was also a sense in which what I was doing was simply in a very mean and emotionally devastating way, drawing them in and drawing them out to a place where they really got hurt. They really got
we were laughing at him the whole time.
There were a lot of...
Oh, you guys got hurt. You got pawned. I remember.
I remember because you guys talked about it.
Guys, about like, oh...
I was in the other
Discord.
I didn't know where you guys were, and you guys came back right after this, and you guys couldn't wait to tell me how hilarious this interaction was.
We literally laughed about this for weeks.
Yeah, for weeks, man. This is funny as hell. It's funny. He thinks that you guys got angry.
He devastated you.
But really,
down
like,
into your soul.
From my perspective, somebody that wasn't there but was, seeing you guys right after and knowing you guys, I know you guys aren't dishonest with me and stuff. I 100% think this guy got emotional and got triggered, and you guys just laughed it off, and he's seeing it as.
This is the only way I can summarize what he's gonna be all verbose about. I told him he was being defensive, and he proved me right by being super defensive, and I continued to point out that all he was doing was being defensive.
Yeah. So how is that being triggered? You pointing out that he's being defensive?
Oh, and then he accused me of being defensive. So it's a classic. I know you are, but what am I? I'm rubber, you're glue.
I like Will says after he finished his debate with you guys, he had sex with a supermodel and went to Mars, but he has no video for it. à-bas-le-ciel.
Witnesses to that. I don't know how many people were in the room on Discord, but there were a bunch of people, and they were just blown away because they'd never heard me really lay into somebody.
The fish was this big.
Heard me where I'm just psychologically.
You mean they never heard you get triggered like that?
Oh, he was psychologically.
There's no mercy and there's no kindness. As that progressed,
and nobody cared.
I really took them apart, but it really was specifically and especially Aimee K herself.
Oh,
so
name
this point, this question,
rewind it. Look at that little face he made.
Aimee,
that's a tell.
Let's watch this facial cue right here.
Yep, he said, especially Aimee K herself, and makes this horrible face.
Oh, Aimee really grinds his gears. Look at this.
Yeah.
Right after he says her name.
Aimee K, I do not think was born stupid.
Did I have to go back for him?
Yeah.
Just look
go
at the
back
way
further.
She puts a sentence together. Aimee K,
Further.
and especially Aimee K herself.
Here it comes.
So at this point, this question, how much do I want to do?
One eye.
Yeah, he did the one eye and he did that inhale.
I think was born stupid. If you even just look at the way she puts a sentence together and her vocabulary, I don't think she was someone who was born with like a biological.
What are you talking about? We're all born stupid. Children
I think
are
she's
stupid.
Someone who's really chosen to be stupid. and she's someone who was just good-looking enough, just cute enough as a woman, that she could basically get away with learning nothing as she went through the motions of her education and job and career path and so on.
Cool. So let's sum things up. I think I'm pretty satisfied with how this went.
So cute.
A lot of people do. I'm fucking adorable. Okay? And people don't like it.
I mean, one of the points where I drew her in, she really got upset.
He drew her in.
Lack of ambition.
I drew her in.
Talked with them a lot about ambition. I didn't make.
We're gonna shave off those eyebrows and draw them back in.
When I took them on, I made the point of the debate. The ambition to make the world a better place. Let's debate that.
So he said he made a point to it. Did you guys agree to a debate? Did you guys see this as a debate?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so he's just making this up straight up.
Here's the thing:
is I didn't agree to a debate because I know you guys don't do that. So.
We were joking around, and he came in with the intent purpose of zeroing in on Aimee, and everyone kind of shut up because I guess maybe he held a little bit more weight than the randos that were in there at the time. He obviously, just like all these people, was drawn to Aimee. You could tell.
They all did that. That's what was the big deal with that server with people. The division that we caused in there was we would go in and have fun, but they really didn't like Aimee, and Aimee's just a girl going in there having fun. You know what I'm saying? And one of the big problems that happened was Aimee would go in the chat, and everybody would shut up and listen to them, except for like a few girls and probably a few guys too, who didn't. I'm not going to say this for a fact, but it seems like they didn't like that she was getting all of the attention. Because everybody else would shut up to listen to her talk, but not them, you know, basically. So it seemed like she was getting all the attention, and they were jealous of that, and they would flip out. And then it turned into this huge hate mob for Aimee.
Well, I think
the Discord was kind of divided into like the main people in that Discord who wanted us to be there, and the young hate mob that formed against Aimee.
Lil Peep.
No problem. Yeah, Little Peep.
Yeah. Lil Peep.
That little fucking bitch Little Peep was one of the main ones.
Oh, that little cunt, that cunt.
Yeah, and yeah, you could see by him getting ran out of circles that he's a douchebag anyway. But in the end, like the guys who ran the server kept coming to us because we kept leaving because they would ban her because to satisfy everyone else, and then the rest of us would leave, and then they would come to us and be like, "Oh, we want you guys to come back." So we'd come back and it'd all happen again. You know what I'm saying? And then we could boot out again. Eventually, at the last time they invited us all back, I think we went in there for like a few minutes and we never went back again. Well, at least me.
I think we all got re-invited back recently, but that's because what's his name took control of the server, and because he was the one that wanted us all in there.
Yeah, he was the main one who liked us. There was a couple of them that liked us that were running that server.
Yeah.
The only reason they would get rid of us was to please the rest of the people who didn't like us. But in the end, I just left that server because I was going in there and it was just boring. Like, they're not fun people. We went in there to try to make it fun and have a good time and hope we get some people laughing with us and have a good time. They weren't accepting of that. So
wait, hold on. What he's about to describe is, I do recall, eventually it did resolve after me and him kind of went back and forth, or 4 or 5 of us. That it, as you might imagine, him and Aimee started kind of dominating, and everyone kind of quieted down and let those two talk, and that's what he's perceiving as a debate, the privilege of talking to Aimee, not even paying his $40.
Funny enough, they do this a lot.
Oh, good point. Actually,
$40. He stole $40 from me.
He stole $40 from me.
But funny enough,
spent that $40 on that yellow shirt.
Didn't even tuck it in like a savage.
He needs to buy fans after his career in live ended. That nobody listens to that band anymore.
This guy's a total badass, you guys.
But in the end, they do this a lot where you have conversations with them and they treat it as a debate. And on top of that, they'll tell other people that they had a debate with you after just having conversation. This happened with me with, was it Little Peep? It might have been with Little Peep. It was one of them. I had a discussion with them. And they started telling everybody that they wrecked me in a debate. And I was like, we didn't even debate. What are you talking about? We just had a conversation. It's so weird. But all right, let me continue.
Maybe veganism is just one imperfect way that we're all trying to make the world a better place. But I said to them, you know what? You're right. Veganism's a failure. And I have a lot of experience with failure. When I went to First Nations University, I was trying to study Korean and Ojibwe. I wanted to be involved with indigenous people's politics, language education, preventing these languages from going insane. And you know what? I failed.
Why?
And so far, that whole movement is failing. And it's so sad to me to think that those languages are going to go extinct. Ottawa, during my lifetime, the Ottawa language, by the way, Ottawa is the name of a city in Canada. It's the name of a capital city in Canada. You've never met anyone in your life who speaks the Ottawa language.
Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, I was about to say that. No one cares, and we only need one language, humanity, and that language is English. Get over it.
And is going to leave a cloud, you know.
Yes, I am anti-languages.
We want to say it, a black mark over the kind of moral and historical record of Canada. It's yet another little step in our slow motion genocide.
Look at this fuck can't stay on topic. He's all over the place.
What?
For me personally, it's a failure, and nationally or globally, you can look at it as a failure. There were humanitarian projects in Laos and Cambodia and Southeast Asia generally.
What the fuck is this humanitarian work?
My little part in the project, hands-on part.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with anything. He already said he's had failures.
This dude's full of himself if he's going on tangents like this.
You saw that were a failure. A project that tried to give medical care to poor people, and it failed. But you know what we had? We had the aspiration and the ambition to do something positive.
We have Moxie, kid.
What about you, Aimee? What have you got? What have you done in the last 5 years? Or what are you doing in the next 5 years right now?
Help people with social interactions.
Drawing her in, and then dealing with those questions that way. It was devastating to her. It was devastating to the guy who did the most of the talking on her side.
Oh, that's you, Dan. That's got to be you.
Devastating.
And
devastating.
In the end,
well, hold on, Dan. What do you think of that? What do you think that he just
It's. I mean, it's like you said, man. What else can we say that hasn't already been said about vegan gains and all these other guys? They're delusional, and this guy's way self-important. Look at that little screed he did. This is a 20-minute video. He just sucked up 3 minutes of our lives, being all self-important. He could just say I failed.
Speaking, it's kind of a virtue signal as well, because first of all, he already mentioned that he failed at things. He didn't need to break down what he failed in. But even still, a lot of that stuff that he mentions failing in is humanitarian work. So it's kind of like, I have the ambition and aspirations to do good. Like okay.
What pisses me off about it is he's there, sat there going, "Oh, look at me! Look at all this volunteer and blah 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 that I do," while assuming that everyone watching doesn't do stuff. Now, I don't know about you lot, but I'm pretty sure there are people in this very room right now that do volunteer work and help the local community and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's say hypothetically, right? Because this isn't the actual goal, but let's say hypothetically, I'm going to bring this to a malicious for good level, basically. Let's say Aimee decided, you know what? There's a lot of fucking socially inept people on the internet. I want to make a mockery of them so that they can understand what it is to interact with human beings. Isn't that a good goal?
And even so, who cares? Who cares? it's a non-point.
I'm just saying that's an aspiration. That's an aspiration. He's assuming that's not the case, and I'm not saying it is, because I brought it to a more malicious level. That's not really what we're doing, but even still, that's he can see it as being malicious, but it could still have a good, and he's not looking at those angles. This is another problem where I say where these people have a huge issue with looking at big picture. They only look at small picture. This is a perfect this guy is a perfect example of that. 5-year plan. Fuck your 5-year plan. What's your 25-year plan? What's your retirement plan?
Yeah. I know what my retirement plan is. He'll be on a beach with Rogue.
There you go. Your 5-year plan don't mean shit. That's way too small potato.
Hell yeah.
And that's why you fail.
I just got to circle back to the delusion that he knows what's inside our brains, that we were devastated. It's obviously not true. Like, even he's got to know that we weren't devastated. We were laughing to his face, and we were laughing afterwards, and we gave no indication that we were devastated. He's got to know that that's not true.
Yeah, I think either he does, or he's extremely delusional, and he just sees what he wants to see and thinks that's true.
How does your brain even have that thought, and then another thought comes in and goes, well, that's kind of self-serving and unrealistic? How does that not happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of these guys do that. I don't think they all do, obviously, but I think a lot of them do. I get this a lot where we're talking and they think I'm triggered, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of laughing. Like, how do you think I'm triggered when I'm laughing? It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you said something that you think would trigger me and would probably trigger you if I said that to you, but I'm not you. It's not.
I mean, let's say he did trigger us. What is this drew you in talk? Drew
you in. Yeah. I don't even understand what he means by that. Like, drew you in.
Shave off those eyebrows and draw them back in, buddy, because that's a problem.
Yeah, seriously. Maybe some of those hand hairs, too.
And that that debate, aside from showing, I mean, like, people in the comments are just saying, God, like, Isel, that was
In
so
the comment
savage.
section.
I can't believe you know, like, you really took these people apart. A lot of people
in the comment section.
Who the fuck is he trying to impress?
I don't know, but he's making. Oh my god, this is funny.
Nice add-on pause.
Add-on pause. And wait, let's remember, this is supposed to be talking about Aimee K and vegan gains, but what is he talking about? Oh, I did so good.
It's all about
my
himself.
god.
Yeah, it's all about himself.
Who are you trying to impress?
I'd also like to mention that we're halfway through the video, and he has barely gone into Aimee.
He's waving his arms. He's wearing a yellow shirt. He's talking about stuff of his past.
Which is not even true, some of it. So how can we even, if he's being dishonest about what happened on that Discord, how can we even believe all the other stuff he said, all his humanitarian work and this and that? We can't.
I'm telling you,
that desk being that dirty is not humanitarian.
This guy is top tier hate watching. Anybody wants to go hate watch somebody, watch this guy. It's like looking into a sandstorm. You're just going to be just blinking and turning your head to the side. Like, this is top tier hate watching. This guy is full of this.
Right now, in case this guy watches this, you've just proven yourself to be dishonest. I could never believe anything you say, just like Ask Yourself did with me. You are 100% dishonest to me now until you prove otherwise. So far, you've been dishonest. I don't know why I should believe anything you say.
And I hate watch all your videos.
Well, I don't.
Seems like that's one of the. It's like one of their things of, you know, I guess their forte is not only is it try to moral fag about everything, but they always have to try to impress others.
Yeah, it's a weird.
You know, it's not enough to just be honest, be real, be who the fuck you are. No, they have to impress.
It's an ego deficiency, and that's the bedrock of all of this. Is their ego deficiency plays out in this weird way. We call them on it, and they can't see it because it rips the carpet out from underneath them. The whole house of cards comes tumbling down around them. They're left with their pathetic 5-year plan to be, like, as he self-describes, a fucking failure in a yellow shirt.
Maybe he should rethink that. Think that maybe his 5-year plan isn't far enough, and that's why it's failing. Maybe he should come up with a 10-year plan and try that out.
Maybe your plan just sucks.
Maybe your plans just suck. I think we're talking about ego, and this is where I go back to Tool and say that you guys need to work your way through your shadow so that you can come out with the equalist and understand how your ego is destroying your personal interactions with
Take
people.
a look in the fucking mirror, guy.
Exactly what he said. Take a look in the mirror, dude. Go through your fucking insecurities and fucking all the problems you have in your life and things that are holding you back, and work your way through them. All right, let's go.
But we're just blown away. And I heard about it from other people, and there was just this kind of word of mouth. Like, whoa, Isel had this debate with Aimee K that was just unbelievably vicious. You know, other people who weren't there asked me about it. A lot of people asked if there was a recording or a video, and it was nothing like that. It was a totally
there should be to prove how much of a shithead you are.
But what it illustrated to me, above all else, was the extent to which Aimee herself was jealous of what we have going on in veganism.
What?
And when I was doing that humanitarian work,
wait,
I
what?
talking about just on vacation.
Yeah, talk about making some shit up. That's fucking craziness.
We didn't know a fucking thing about you all until Ask Yourself started in the Discord that we are in.
Yeah.
We didn't know a damn thing about you people at all. Didn't care.
The vegans started all this.
Yes.
This motherfucker is on some crystal ball shit right now. I know we're ascribing his ego, and we're kind of trying to break him down a little bit, but we're just basing it lightly off of what we're seeing and giving an honest reaction. This guy's ascribing a total fleshed out view of her mind. She is jealous.
Yeah, let's say that he's barely interacted with her. Like, it's not like they talked for long periods of times for multiple days. He's barely interacted with her.
I mean, it seems like he has a sense of rejection.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
I need to get some lotto numbers from this guy because he is clearly a psychic.
I
future.
know, right?
Guaranteed fucking
that
winner.
just blew my mind right there.
If he is actually watching this, would you mind just putting down this week's lottery numbers in the comments section for us? Because we'd all appreciate that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We're all trying to meet each other, so...
Yeah.
You bald Nostradamus motherfucker.
Oh, man.
Extra
Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, whatever. And they would sometimes meet me and assume I was a tourists also, or sometimes they didn't assume I was in the army, like just the way I look. They think I was there with the U.S. military or something.
Shut up, dude. You're trying to impress
and then
so bad.
they'd find out about the humanitarian work I was doing. They'd find out about the research I was doing and the languages I was studying, whatever it was.
Humanitarian work.
And sometimes,
awesome.
you know, there was a mix of admiration and jealousy. And sometimes there was a really kind of much more negative, resentful jealousy because the people were thinking about their own lives. They were thinking about what they were thinking about what they were
Oh my
doing
god,
on
I'm so
vacation.
great.
They were
Me.
thinking about the last 5
Yeah, I might not be right about this, but I'm starting to think this is total projection. I think this is what he
It's
feels.
absolute. It's a 20-minute projection
And
series.
maybe not the people he's talking about, but he might see other people who do better at their causes or at aspiring to do better and stuff like that, and he's projecting that onto others, you know, as if everybody thinks this way. So when he talks to somebody like that, like he talked to Aimee, now he's putting his own personal feelings of rejection from himself, basically from feeling let down of all this like stuff that he's tried to accomplish, and basically putting that on Aimee and saying she's jealous of veganism.
What's your 5-year plan to clean that desk behind you, bucko?
Here's a good point. If you're jealous of veganism, why wouldn't you just go vegan?
Yeah, it's not a high aspiration.
I know, right?
It's not
I'm
that.
so jealous.
Like, that's very weird. Like if I was jealous of somebody being a police officer, I'd try to be a police officer. Like I don't get this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you're jealous of somebody's for having a certain girlfriend, you start trying to impress that girl. You know what I'm saying? Like you actually go for it when you're jealous.
In general, you're gonna be jealous about things that are outside of your grasp to a certain degree.
Yeah, becoming a vegan isn't really outside of the grasp of the vast majority of people. Like,
let's look at how many times too he's going to refer back to himself. I got a prediction. He's not going to circle back to this Aimee K stuff at all, man.
At all? No, I think he will, but I think it'll be far late in the game.
Spending this entire video talking about how great he is.
Yeah, it's been 11 minutes and he's had like maybe 45 seconds.
At the same time, he might be jealous of vegan gains himself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this guy obviously has a smaller channel than vegan gains.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and I saw the description of the video say, well,
yeah, I was about to do that and go to it again.
Yeah, go ahead. Where he says, vegan gains treated her much, easier than I did. I was much harder. It's almost like him saying, hey, the bigger guy didn't do as well as I would.
Yeah.
I would have done better. He just shouted at her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Else you have nothing to watch. Yeah, and then he brings up vegan gains again. Support his channel. Support this channel for $1 on Patreon, or else you'll have nothing to watch but vegan gains. Shout at people again and again forever.
Yeah, he thinks he's better than vegan gains.
I don't think he thinks he's better. I think this is where I think it's projection that he's putting on.
Honestly, I think I'm with Jay on this because I mean that's what if he keeps talking about himself over and over,
he's trying to show. But I mean, in the end, subconsciously, that leads to him being jealous of vegan gains being better. Having a bigger YouTube channel, being more popular. You know what I mean?
Oh, Will makes a good point. Being cruel to people is good. Being cruel to animals is bad. Just had to say that.
Well, yeah. And why is it? Because most of these vegans are anti-human and want, humans not to be on this fucking planet and leave the whole planet just to the animals.
We should all kill ourselves and leave it to the animals. Because we're an animal, but not an animal. We're the wrong type of animal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I agree with that fully, just because I don't like to make assumptions in other people's minds without saying making an assumption.
Yeah,
but I can see your point. In some vegans, like I've seen things that seem that way.
Because a lot of vegans out there are going to be like, "Well, I'm not anti-human," even if they actually are. They're just going to be defensive about it, and a lot of them are going to actually not be anti-human and just be kind of cunty and dumb and young and naive.
Well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, as well. Because you have to imagine they're coming from a perspective where you're causing this great harm. So I mean, they're going to be cunty to you regardless.
Yeah.
Somebody better not. All
right. Here's their lives, in the next 5 years, the lives, and where
5 years.
And a lot of people
himself in the head. Look at that.
In 21st century
subliminal message
are carrying around that burden of resentment with themselves all the time. A lot of people are burdened with, and to some extent, crippled by the awareness.
Isle psychologist to the world.
Of something better. They were capable of something more.
Oh, this is.
They ought to have had some positive aspiration. Maybe not the cure for cancer. Maybe not to feed starving people in Laos, maybe not.
I kind of felt like that was
providing medical
for a
care
while, but then he went
in Cambodia. Maybe not veganism or helping animals on farms, but that they should have had something. and what they have is nothing. And
Says
Aimee
you.
K, who she is and what she is
she has
a
nothing?
naturally cute, attractive, good-looking woman who is now 30 years old. She's older than you think.
Creepy as
She's
fuck.
probably missed her window of opportunity to get married, have a baby, and have a family.
What?
She's missed her window of opportunity to get an education
Say what
and have a
now?
career.
I'm sure
One of
that's
those
like some
opportunities.
underlining
Even- I talked-
sexism right there.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it.
Okay, I retract what I said. It's all about being jealous of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, I was going to go on the record. Aimee has aspirations. We all know her. We're friends with
we all
her.
know her.
She has aspirations. You're fucking dead wrong, and
And
your yellow shirt
go
is
ahead.
ridiculous.
yeah, and she also has many possible suitors that go after her all the time. So it's not like she's in a lost her window
Dude,
of opportunity.
have you ever? Has this guy
Yeah,
even seen Amy's dating profile? It is lit as fuck. All right.
It is.
No,
Amy's dating profile is so
sometimes-
good that she has to have someone else manage it.
All I gotta
Well,
say
sometimes
is
you don't have to
and
do.
pale.
Sometimes you don't have to do these great this whole like activism bullshit. The one thing that Amy's got that a lot of people don't have is that positivity that is infectious, that helps people.
Yeah, you're right. She's very effervescent. Very
And just like Dan says, all this guy has is a dirty desk and a yellow shirt.
Well, Amy's very good at brightening people's days. We're not even just talking about us, her friends. There's like just general acquaintances that she brings smiles to all the time, like almost daily.
Amyee is a
These people
litmus
don't have-
test.
They don't care about that stuff. Amyee is a litmus test, and that's perfect. That's exactly. I love that you said that, Dan, because when we went in that Discord, I didn't go in the voice chat when she was triggering everybody in there. Then they were all flipping out in the voice chat and the text chat. And exactly the first thing I said when I went in there and read all the things these people were saying about her, I said, "You guys are failing the litmus test." Like totally. I was like, "Wow, you shocked me that you said that," because that was exactly what I said at that moment. I was nuts.
Talked about her with this at some length. She missed her opportunity to learn any language other than English. Even
Wrong.
Family members
So what?
Wrong. Totally wrong.
She missed her opportunity to do humanitarian work in
All right, let's call him out again. And
Also, you can learn a
mention
language
that-
at any time.
Yeah, and mention that Amyee is bilingual. She speaks English and Punjabi. In case none of you know, I am also bilingual. I speak English, Spanish, and know some Japanese and some German. So this is kind of ridiculous. To make an assumption that somebody only speaks English without knowing or asking them to is utterly ridiculous, because we all know
at the
that
same time, so what?
to find out if she did. Yeah, also so what? But in the end, yeah, lots of people only speak one language and it doesn't really affect their lives. But in the end, it shows how this guy. What I've been saying about all these vegan gains, especially, is that they make assumptions and then take those to be facts without finding out if they're true. And then when you try to tell them that it's not true, they don't believe you. And it's like, well, you have as much evidence as I'm giving you. So how do you come to your fact? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
This guy's as uncharitable as you could possibly be, and downright lying,
Yeah.
slanderous.
I mean, this just proves it right here. Amyee speaks 2 languages, like fluently. How does this guy? He obviously didn't know that and made the perfect assumption that she only spoke 1 language.
I will
crazy.
expect your formal apology.
Again, this also makes everything you said before this and the way you viewed everything that you're explaining right now, it makes it not valid. We have no sense of whether we should believe you or not. All of this could have just been your assumptions with no evidence that you knew you were right. You know what I'm saying? So all of this could just be your delusional illusions. That's it.
Yeah,
India,
duplicate
although she has family members connected to that. So she has regrets about passing all that up. And she is a nobody.
Wait, did he just
on
say?
the internet trying to
Did he say that she regrets passing up having connections with her family? Is that what he said?
You might have to rewind it.
Yeah.
It was regrets
sentence.
passing up on all these opportunities that he listed.
No, he said family at some point.
And she is a nobody. And she is on the internet trying to be a somebody.
That's not
But
why
she's
she's on
You mean like you?
Look in the fucking mirror, asshole.
Or as
I know,
vegan
pot,
activists or
meat
vegans
kettle.
aspiring to do something positive, something we have, which is that we become somebody not through being fame whores or gossiping or entertainment, all this bullshit, not through song and dance, right? That you become a somebody through your ambitions, right? And in the pursuit of your ambitions, You transform who you are. All right? We're all born ignorant. We are all born ignorant.
And
In
some
case you guys think
Some people stay that
I
way.
was just
Yeah, Grant on the nose. Some people stay that way. And
Whoa. Me and Grant said it at the same time, you bastard.
I was louder, bitch.
You guys, Grant has a more booming voice.
Womb.
But yeah.
Like, you know, knowing any of this stuff I know, or even caring about this stuff. I grew up playing Sega Master System. I grew up playing Sega Genesis.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
After he just talked about future ambitions, his past,
I would like
30 years ago.
I would like to say, unless you're British, you're a fag if you grew up on Sega, not Nintendo. Just wanted to.
Alf gets his little Dude, this guy's so off topic.
I guess I'm an outlier. Genesis for the fucking win.
No, Super Nintendo rocked Genesis, but we're not going to get into that now.
That'll be a whole nother video. Stay tuned.
A whole other video.
Sam and Earl, okay? When I talk about, meaningful influences in my life, I also grew up with garbage, lowbrow, Western culture. I didn't have, I didn't have any kind of special advantage in my childhood.
That
but
kind of
at
seems a
some
little bit
point,
regressive to me, like a really slight undertone of regressiveness right there.
Yeah.
About his sort of saying about Western culture. Are you anti-Western civilization, mate?
Well, I mean, it kind of shows something now that he's admitting that he grew up in lowbrow Western culture, but I mean, and not we can't really say that. It's hard to dissect that because I don't know if he's saying that Western culture is lowbrow or that his form of growing up in Western culture was lowbrow. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's a few of us here that can say that we grew up in lowbrow of Western culture.
For sure.
Yeah.
But you take somebody like me or Aimee who were raised by immigrant parents, that doesn't work the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't entirely work. We may have been raised in areas that were Western culture, but we were raised by people who did not grow up in Western culture. That adds a whole different level.
So he's in the middle of talking about himself, obviously, and saying,
"Yeah,
I grew up. I came from humble beginnings, and I pulled myself up through ambition."
Mm-hmm.
By playing Earthworm Jim.
I'm not sure if that was an example of how lowbrow he was before, and now he's high ideals. But the problem is, that you just pulled out the cartridge, so I have to assume that you're still playing Sega.
Yeah. So I mean, basically,
what's your point?
He's saying he used to be a Sega fag and he didn't rise out of it, and he's still a Sega fag. So get some Nintendo, bitch.
Yeah.
Like seriously, at some point, even something like my engagement with Laos, it has to start with an awareness. Like, wow, there's this historical tragedy I know nothing about. I just learned about it. The United States dropped more bombs on this country than they dropped on Germany and Japan in World War II.
Linear time.
There's this whole history. There's this culture. There's the ancient Buddhism. There's the modern war, communism, poverty.
Who fucking cares?
Hey, can I make a positive difference? I can, but I'm gonna have to work hard as hell. I literally went to Toronto Metro Reference Library. That's a free library for you don't even pay $1 to go in the. I went into that library and I took every book off that bookshelf for a long series of languages: Cambodian, Laotian, Sinhalese. I mean, I hit the books even in deciding which language I was going to learn.
Who cares?
Oh my God, who cares?
The language.
If you were making that much of a positive difference, we'd know who the fuck you are.
Can I mention that being a polyglot does not help you change anything? It doesn't make you a better person. It might be an indication of intelligence because it does exercise your brain and it gives you better research.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean you are going to be intelligent by learning these things. But yeah, it's not a big deal. I speak 2 languages. I've tried to learn other languages. I didn't do it for some great aspiration of I'm gonna save the world by learning Japanese and German and Italian. Like, come on,
no,
man.
Alf, don't you see what he's saying is by learning these languages, these people are now exposed to the wisdom of him, and that bettered them. Because he's a modern day Nostradamus, he's a modern day Aristotle. I mean, these people were lucky to be in his presence, frankly, and that's his ambition is to share his brilliance with the world. Because fucking A, it's all about him.
Yeah, he's like a bald Mother Teresa.
I'm gonna ask him to have a debate with me in Spanish and see how well that goes.
And look, hold on. We're 15 minutes in. I think I called it. We're not getting back to
I think
Aimee.
you're right. I think you did call it. I was doubting it, but I'm starting to think you're right. Let's see.
So this was all a springboard.
You know, even sorry, but
Yeah.
I don't even want to make it sound that academic. When I was there,
Me?
I wasn't a tourist. Even when I was just talking to a farmer,
No, I just
learning about what
got
was going
this from the title, "Devastating Aimee: Veganism as Growth." This whole video is about him growing as a person and realizing this through devastating Aimee in a debate.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh my God.
on agriculture. When you talk to, you know, the people in that sense, when you talk to the common people, when you get down in the dirt and get your hands and feet dirty and talk, you know, just really learn what's going on in one of these cultures, or, you know, where a lot of the information is kind of secret and verbal and not written down. Don't have freedom of the press. They don't have free speech on the radio or newspapers. If you want to know what's going on,
when he says you, he means me.
In the economy or something,
Yeah.
you're really, yeah. And you know what? That changed me, because I wanted to change.
And you know, his
I didn't
faux
wanna
emotion
be,
is really
at 31 years old,
see-through.
the
He's
same guy I
you know?
was at 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to be.
I don't want to be. Shut up, dude.
So I didn't want to be the same guy I was at 31.
So he's telling us how he changed personally for himself.
Yeah, and
Not for the betterment of mankind or the world or anything like that. It's all about himself.
Yeah, it is all about himself. It's clear to see. But on top of that, he's projecting that on other people and think that everybody wants this. Not everybody wants this change.
But
on top of that, everyone changes from 31 to 20, from 21 to 31.
Yeah, no shit, whether you want to or not.
My God. Yeah, that's just part of natural maturing.
And if we're talking about Aimee, she'll be the first to tell you 20-year-old Aimee was kind of dumb and naive. 30-year-old Aimee is more mature.
Yeah, she was a totally different person 10 years ago. So.
At 21 years old, the same guy who played, you know, video games at age 11, right?
In his hand.
Getting older is not getting wiser. You're going to change when you commit to change. And this girl, Aimee K, she also reminds me of a lot of moralizing you find in ancient Buddhist philosophy in the canon.
Oh!
Am I?
You're not trying to talk, you're deliberately trying to be dishonest.
You can think I'm dumb, okay?
She was born just clever enough to be dumb. You know what I mean? She's just clever enough to make excuses for her own stupidity.
Oh my God.
And stay stupid. But she's not learning the lesson.
Can I just say I love that these guys don't get what Aimee was doing and what all of us are doing? I fucking love it, dude.
Well, I mean, that's right there. This is the perfect example of dishonesty. He basically quote mined on that.
Yeah, he did.
He just quote mined to push his own little personal thing about a personal story about personal change of himself.
Yeah, either that or he really has no concept of sarcasm or social interactions at all.
Can I just say, though, I got this guy at like 100 IQ, maybe 95 IQ. He is not above average IQ. He's right in the center of that bell curve, and he thinks he's got a 150 IQ. I guarantee it.
Oh, you know, which is perfect, because you know what that means? That means he's dumb, but just smart enough to play dumb. Exactly what he's saying is portrayed on him. Wow, that's fucking fun.
I mean, that's really what I think. He really strikes me as just average, maybe a little bit below average, but this does not strike me as a high IQ person. Besides all of his defects, because you can have all these defects and still be a smart person. This guy just strikes me as defective on certain ways, but also very self-involved, but also 95, 100 tops.
I understand you, but I kind of see that like where. It kind of makes sense with how he views himself, as how he keeps trying to push himself to be better and smarter. He's learning all these languages and he has all these aspirations, and it's kind of like he's making up for something, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of see that as him being
the time that he missed, that he's talking about Aimee missing.
So he is ambitious because most people with a 95 IQ like him are flipping burgers. So relatively speaking, he is very ambitious. So good for him. Let's all give him a round of applause, guys. He's great. Yeah, oh, Islo. Damn it, you did it again, Islo. Woo!
Again.
Will's giving clappy on the
But yeah, Will said he is acting like he knows Aimee, and that's totally true. And to me, I mean, we all do this, but we kind of do this on a joking level. We're not totally serious or totally taking these things that we say, like, you know, we make statements about vegan gains or ask yourself, we make these things as jokes when we say these things. We don't totally believe them, or we state that it's like an idea that we have that it seems this way. But this guy legitimately thinks he's got Aimee down to a T. You know what I'm saying? And
without knowing her at all.
Yeah, from one short interaction with her that we all laughed at him about for weeks.
Yeah, we're not speculating that this guy's self-involved. This is just math. Look at how many times he's spoken about himself. Look at this is just plain to see. I'm just telling you what's in front of me here.
Yeah, Dan, for real. I see that. I see projection mostly. That I think that he's putting it on. He's putting his own insecurities on others. But what's I say? Oh yeah, we kind of made a meme of him 5-year plan thing. Like that would be a constant joke with us. Every once in a while, we just ask people what their 5-year plan was, and we'd all laugh about it.
That's how devastated we were.
You see, that's how devastated we were. Oh man.
From her stupidity, and she's just cute enough and good looking enough and charming enough, especially as a young woman. And it's gonna be over now.
A big titty young woman.
It's gonna be over now.
And she could smile and be evasive and change the subject and kind of wink and giggle at people and get through life without really getting caught out in her mistakes, with not really bearing the consequences.
The crickets are having a perfect.
Her actions and her stupidity.
He has no idea about her life or anything that's happened in her life.
No, this is another thing. He keeps talking about, the 21 to 31 deal. He missed his chance.
Yeah, good point.
And he's pretty much trying to tell Aimee, hey, you're missing yours. Because I'm guessing this guy's like in his late 30s, early 40s. Probably.
Yeah, he's probably like our age. But he's basically listed everything he's tried to do and failed at, which basically means, throughout his 20s, he just kept trying to do these things and failed. But it's funny how he's saying that she's been too cute, so she's never been called out on her mistakes and learned from her mistakes.
We call her out whenever she messes up.
No, it's not even that. He has no concept of what she's been through in her life.
Right.
We know, some of us know like what she's been through in her life. We know what's, like we know that this is inherently not true. Like, holy shit.
You don't know me.
It's exactly. Oh, man,
I don't even know me.
It's insane how somebody can think they charted someone's entire life from one conversation. It's fucking nuts.
He's just being ambitious with his powers of perception now.
True. You're just cute enough to get away with this. I have no idea. I don't have no idea.
You just mentioned the bell curve.
But I mean, she admitted to me that she's basically never had a real job in her life. She's
what?
Never had any real career or.
From a 5-minute conversation, you gathered all of this?
Flat out lie.
And let's go back and say that this is either Aimee was fucking with him or he's lying, because we know that she's had jobs for a long time, like most of her adult life.
And one of her jobs was on the career path. She enjoyed it.
Yeah. So I think either Aimee was just not taking this serious and fucking with him, or he's being dishonest and just making shit up.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of ambition,
I would say more likely fucking with him, because we obviously can read that he takes all of this shit so damn seriously. So it's like, okay, we got to take this chance for it.
We saw that from the beginning, where he thought that was a serious conversation, when
right.
Dan here, who was actually there, told us that they were mostly trolling, and even mentioned that they were mostly there for fun and laughs and not taking it seriously.
And speaking of ambition, I've actually talked to Aimee about her ambitions career-wise.
Yeah.
Many occasions, she does have career ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
So you're wrong about her not having a job. You're wrong about her not having ambition, and also you failed the fucking litmus test, you yellow shirt goofball.
Yeah, it's not. He's making her sound like she's like purposely trying to stay stagnant or something like that.
You know what really surprises me about this guy is that he's our age, Grant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
and he looks like he has stayed stagnant for way too long.
But he's falling for the shit that the young 20-year-olds fall for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly what we do in trying to talk to these spurgs and trying to get them to realize what social interactions are, by making them look dumb, but they don't catch it most of the time. And he's not catching it. I mean, he's in his late 30s. He should be catching this. Like,
is Arrested Development, Sega Genesis? Not even once.
I told you about what did I say about the Sega fags, man? You guys don't want to listen.
Hey, watch your mouth.
I don't know if she used to fold T-shirts at a clothing shop or work behind the counter at a designer clothes warehouse. Like, I don't know if she's had Joe jobs like that. But I mean, again, when she was really breaking
you don't know anything
in our debate, she admitted that she's never had any sense of direction or purpose in life, any career. She's never had any ambition, even to earn money or get an education or have a decent job. She's never had an ambition to do anything. but what she responds to in veganism, what it was she's trying to lash out at, and really in a sense is exactly seeing a morally defined, highly motivated subculture of people trying to do something positive. We're people who have exactly what she lacks.
No.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Isel, no!
This is
wow, what a fucking really? That's what you turned this back to?
This is so backwards. Like, he thinks that, but the truth, the real truth is, for everybody listening, is we think not even all vegans, just a specific sect of vegans are a bunch of spurgy internet nerds who do have no concept of social interactions. They don't know how to speak to people. They don't know what jokes are. They don't know, they just don't know shit of how to interact with people. They're all smart in certain ways. They know all these facts, and they know how to argue, and they know all these things, but they don't know how to talk to people. That's the problem.
They're socially inept.
Yeah, they're 100% socially inept. Obviously, hashtag not all, and I'm not even talking about, I can't even say the vast majority, because what I'm talking about myself is a certain sect of the people on YouTube, especially ones who follow Vegan Gains, Ask Yourself, guys like this. These people have no, and this is a perfect example. To us, obviously, this is going to end up being a subjective thing where everybody else watching is like, well, why should I believe you over him? I don't give a shit. But in the end,
have a conversation with us.
To us, the people who know each other and trust each other and interact with each other constantly and get along, not only get along with us, but we have people outside of us that we get along with that come to us and want to be part of our group, and we talk to them, we treat them nice. But in the end, this is the way we see it. Aimee's problem, and pretty much all of our problems with the vegans, is not the destruction of their fucking their what do you call activism. What we don't like is how you act like a bunch of spurgy bitches. We actually have no with the exception of Dan, we actually have zero issues with you being a vegan. We have zero issues with you spreading veganism. We have zero issues with veganism at all. The whole issue is how these people act, and we try to show them that over and over again, and they don't get it. And this guy, à-bas-le-ciel, whatever your real fucking name is.
Isel.
Oh, Isel. Ooh, what a shitty name. But in the end, I don't give a shit about destroying veganism. She doesn't give a shit about destroying veganism. All we give a shit about is people not acting like you right now throughout this whole video.
And at this point, it's not even about them being cunty. It's about them not even hearing us tell them what you just said. We said it a million times.
And I said it a million times.
So I'm really interested that they can't even get it through their head what we're saying. That's what's interesting at this point.
Yeah. And it's honestly been like almost a year, and they still don't get it. None of them get it.
Yeah, you got to remember, I mean, we can't forget, and the people watching, you can't forget, they came at us.
Yeah. And
it all started, they came at us. We didn't care about their activism until they came at us.
I'm not even going to say totally they, because this all started between me and Ask Yourself. It was all started.
But as soon as you told or said that Ask Yourself was being dishonest, here they come.
Yep. And what happened? I made a video showing how he was dishonest. None of them would buy that for some reason. It's objectively true. You can read through the screen caps and see it, but they have to do mental gymnastics and like, oh, you have to cut something out. There's something we're missing here. But in the end, instead of coming to me and being like, no, he's not being dishonest, this and that. What happened was, why are you against veganism? Oh, this anti-vegan, debate me on veganism. What? How is calling somebody dishonest mean debate me on veganism? What? Like, what world do you live in?
Yeah. And here's the thing.
Get a fucking hobby. Get a second hobby.
Get a fourth, fifth hobby. So, and any of the vegans that are watching this, if you want to think that we're just sitting here lying through our teeth, totally misunderstanding the situation, just think about it. Think about it for a second. Why would we do that? Why are we sitting here lying through our teeth, just so invested in this? It doesn't make any sense. We have nothing to gain in this.
Yeah, in the end, if we really need to back up, you can ask people that used to be part of your community that are now part of our community, and they'll tell you that for the last year, we've been trying to show you guys that you're spurgs. And they agree with us. Oh, sorry. And
the thing is there's vegans that I've met and know that do vegan activism and whatnot, which will tell you, Vegan Gains and Ask Yourselves are the worst for the vegan community.
Yeah, I got a lot of DMs after my video telling me that ask yourself. People that still are in his community telling me secretly, like, yeah, ask yourself. I've been through the same things with him. He's a douche, you know, and then, you know, but we agree with him and we like the way he argues, so we listen to him.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
The server we met him in was the Satanism server, and they were all there because they got kicked out of Ask Yourself.
Yeah.
Because he's a spurg.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a server basically of a bunch of people who were hating on Ask Yourself because he spurged on them. So basically, but, you know, in the end, a lot of them were spurged too.
I totally forgot about that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was the whole purpose. Yeah, when we first went in there, that was the whole purpose. Everybody, in fact, I was invited in there because of the video I made about Ask Yourself, and they were all like talking to me about it. And every time I would make a video about it, he would, you know, they would post it in there and talk to me about it. That was the whole reason they wanted me there in the first place. He's gonna play a song to show me ahead. I kind of want to just skip this.
Would you fuck her?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Well, I was going to say the only thing that helps her out is that team Stark House.
Love, they will lean that way forever. Most human beings
leaning
are
out for
defined
love.
By terrible needs. By desires they never really come to understand themselves. And a lot of people
he thinks he's fucking Joe Rogan, Aristotle, and
no. He thinks he understands psychology, but he's way off.
I don't think veganism is for children. I don't think veganism is. I mean, really, some people, you see it here, are just too stupid to be vegan. It's a tragedy.
What? If you were smart, you'd be vegan.
People are going to grow up when they choose to grow up. And veganism is one of these uncomfortable, sobering social messages.
Yeah, well,
people, hey, yeah. All those excuses you have in your life, all of them.
Dude, this guy is below the people that do like self-help seminars at a hotel.
And Danny was correct. This was about him and not the Vegan Gains versus Aimee. He took the opportunity of that debate or whatever you want to call it, and to make a video about himself, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, great! Here's a debate that I see a lot of people watching and gotten a lot of, you know, everybody's talking."
And that's
about
another.
I'm gonna make a video about myself using that.
That's another example of his dishonesty. Is, you know, basically taking advantage of the opportunity to do more of himself.
So I don't know if you're capturing the chat on the side, but just to make it bigger.
Yeah.
Even though you can watch my video on Ask Yourself and see this, but what's the fucking thing up? Because this is pretty much done, right? We're not going to get to the very end. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. There might be a stinger in there where he says something super insightful.
No,
probably not.
Doesn't let you. Oh, now I'm fucked. It won't let me.
You just had it for like a split second.
Yeah, but it does this when you try to do that, I guess. But I can read it from here. I destroyed some terrible anti-vegan logic in at German Bruin server. Again, you can watch my video and you'll see screen caps that there was no anti-vegan logic going on there. In fact, people were just saying, I don't want to hear vegan arguments in here. I don't want to hear vegan debates. We don't debate in here. That's basically what was going on. And got banned by salty mods who can't defend their position. No positions were stated. In fact, for all he knows, he could have been talking to vegans and did not even know. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that was said to him is, oh, we don't debate. Basically, he was trying to talk about veganism, and it was basically Chris going, yawn, I don't want to hear about this. We don't do debates. And he was saying, well, defend your position. Yeah, defend your position. And Chris was like, I don't care. Like, so
Chris was unimpressed.
Yeah, basically, Chris is unimpressed by you. And he took that as being an argument somehow. I don't know. Weak as fuck, LOL. Veganism equals litmus test for intellectual honesty. Love AIU's content, but that was some weak shit. Yeah, AIU Discords equals litmus for social interactions. You failed.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe in this guy's mind that if you're not talking about veganism, then you're just completely wrong. You're immoral. Just by not talking about it.
It was so strange. It was so strange to me because that's why, in the end, I approached him nicely because I straight up took it as, oh, this guy must have misunderstood the situation. Let me talk to him and tell him, you know, let me explain.
Oh, so wait, Alf, you actually backed up and checked yourself first?
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
That's what I do.
Oh, wow.
But you're not a vegan.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I was like, well, you know, he was kicked because he started spurging out and acting like a dick and insulting people. So I was like, maybe he flipped out because he misunderstood the situation. Let me talk to him and explain to him how the server works.
That frail bitch ain't got no room to insult anybody.
Yeah, and he just fucking spurred from there and would totally shut down and would double down on his bullshit. And then I showed him screen caps and made that video, and he continued to double down, even though it's you can see it clear as day what happened.
And here's something that he said, Eisel said at the end, was basically veganisms are the smarter people. And what Ask Yourself is saying here is veganism equals a litmus test.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, it doesn't let you. It wants you to do the extension. Let's see if I go far back. Sorry, Dan.
Oh, sorry. And veganism is the litmus test for intellectual honesty. And Eisel was saying vegans are the smart ones. They're 7% of the population at best. So are they saying 93% of the population, they're dummies, they're not intellectually honest? I mean, how's the world even functioning by their estimation?
Yeah, I guess it's not functioning well.
In their minds, no.
You think about all the powerful people out there, all the really smart, intellectual go-getters that are actually making the world a better place, actually doing something to make the world better. Those people, no, fuck them. Just this 7%, and it shows this elitism, and it shows the ego boost that they get from this. They're the elite. They're the god kings and the arbiters of what is smart, what is moral, what is intellectually honest.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you're a bunch of ego-filled, arrogant fucks. Yeah, exactly. Go fuck yourselves. This is basically what we're trying to show you. Like, drop your ego some. You can.
That's the thing. They're not making the change. They're not making the change that they think they are.
No, they're not.
They're not even making a dent in what they think they're changing.
Like, you can see this. If veganism is a litmus test for intellectual honesty, just like Dan said, then they're basically saying the entire population is dumber than them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's basically what they're saying. Or at least dishonest.
Fucking
self-importance percent of the population is dishonest, and they're the only honest ones. It's a serious self-importance. It's definitely ego and arrogance, and you could be confident. There's a lot of people try to confuse confidence with arrogance, and they think that like the whole alpha male thing. Oh, I'm alpha male. There's a difference between arrogant and being being confident, being arrogant. You know what I'm saying? That one shows you have no self-awareness, and the other shows you do.
And to add on, that confidence and shit could be a front for something else as well, and that's what it seems like.
Yeah, that's usually what it is when it's arrogance. Your ego. That's kind of the point of the ego. The ego won't let you view your down, your faults. So then you gained this confidence through your ego, which is truly arrogance, because you're not looking at your faults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. This guy's basically a pedophile. We should go flag his videos, and I'm going to dox him, and let's just go ahead and hunt this guy like an animal.
No.
Oh,
that's
okay.
What we do.
I'm
on the wrong move, dude.
All right, actually, I take all that back. I don't know what I was thinking.
But yeah,
these anti-vegans, they're such terrible people, aren't they?
There's a kind of thing where I bring up Jungian theory, where I'm not a big fan of Jung in the sense of the way he put things, but if you look at it in the simpler sense, it makes total sense. Where, yeah, you have a massive ego, dude. You seem to have these problems that you're portraying onto other people. I think the best bet is what you said at the beginning: is look in the mirror, work through yourself, work through your insecurities and your personal problems, or anything that you think might be holding you back that you're forgetting about and not thinking about, and work your way through them, dude. Focus on yourself, fixing yourself. Fuck making these videos, analyzing other people. You need to work.
Watch your own videos.
Watch your own videos.
You're addressing yourself.
And realize, and this is from the perspective of some of the people you're talking about, and you're not realizing that you've totally just messed this up. You've basically showed yourself to be a fucking either a delusional fuck or a dishonest fucking arrogant bastard. So figure it out which one you want to be, and if you don't want to be
with a yellow shirt.
Yeah, with a yellow shirt, which kind of signals everything. But in the end, either pick one, or if you don't want to be either, work through your shit, dude.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I don't have any advice for this guy. Just keep on being you. I'm hate watching your channel. I encourage other people to go hate watch your channel if they can stomach it. Yeah. I mean, this guy could become my new Steve Shives if I just really cared enough.
Yeah, I could see that. And in the end, I might be giving him more of a chance because I'm not the one who actually spoke to him. You are. So I mean, in the end, I would prefer talking to him or giving him advice and helping him realize what he's doing. Obviously, in the end, he's most likely not going to get it. And he's most
Well, I
likely
mean,
going to
that's
tell me I'm wrong and not, not understand what he's doing is retarded. But
This guy
I mean,
might
that's
be
the
like,
advice in itself.
you know me, this is why I talk to vegans all the time, because I actually try to help them.
let's
even
get him
though
on
they
the
get it.
stream. I'll debate him. I'm anti-vegan. He could be like a level 1 boss, you know?
Yeah,
like
you want to start at the bottom? I told you I'll hook you up with Isaac Baines, but if you want to hook it up, if you want me to hook you up with this guy, I'll contact.
I'll
he'll
take
probably
on
see
all
this
of them.
video and come to us.
I'll tear through all of
take
them
them
one at
all.
a time.
Well, yeah, we'll do this shit.
I'll work my way up to Freely, and then I'll fuck her in her mouth.
We're gonna be like we're gonna be like Rocky and Mickey, Dan. Me and you.
It's over, Rock.
Ooh,
You
speaking
can get
of
him,
which,
Dan.
ooh, I need a
Don't
neck
give up,
massage
Dan.
right now if anyone's offering. That's all I'm saying. Because this
All
guy's
right,
got
I
me
got
tense.
All right, so closing statements. Anyone? Anything else to say?
I think we covered everything, really.
I think we covered everything.
I mean, we did get kind of duped into this one because we thought it was going to be more about Aimee,
Yeah.
but it turned into a fucking personal.
It actually worked out though, because we thought it was going to be about Aimee, and it actually worked out because this was something kind of connected to us too, and it went to a different level. But we had lots to say about it, so it worked out.
Definitely.
Let me address something.
Yeah.
Alf, since you're going to be one looking at the comments when this is uploaded and all, I'm going to wager that the majority of the comments are going to be how we bash his yellow shirt, and that's going to prove. I mean, that's going to prove like they're not paying attention to what was actually said by us.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, it could be a Freudian slip, and he's telling us all he's a coward. Who knows?
Yeah.
So for those of you that think that they have nothing, all they talked about was a yellow shirt,
ad homs,
and if that's the you guys ad hom fallacy, you just committed a gross representation of an ad hom fallacy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's explain.
Go back and listen to the shit again.
I want to explain something too, because these guys love calling ad homs on people, and it's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with ad homs as long as the ad hom isn't what's making the argument.
2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah.
You cunt. Oh, yeah. Ad hom.
Yeah, I can say, yeah, water is wet.
Faggot is still 4.
Water is wet. Me calling you a faggot does not erase that water is wet. All right.
Well, thank you to everyone for watching. This has been me, Alfie, Dan, Johan, Rogue, Grant, and Will. And that was it.
Bye, guys.
Dale was